Alright folks, welcome to another modern video. Today we're going to be playing a different version of Amulet. My previous video I played a more all-in approach to the deck with the Mycosynth Garden, and today I learned from that video and I'm trying to apply it over here. The most obvious first thing to happen here is we're playing Dryad, okay? So we're back on the Dryad plan. However, I'm only playing a singleton Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle. The reason for this is obviously that we just have to make room for Mycosynth Gardens. And obviously, I just want to point this out, like, there's no rule that says that I need to be playing 4 copies of Gardens. It's just in the early stages of testing, I like to just go all in on the card, like play as many copies as I can so I really see it in action as often as possible. And then from there, we can kind of change things around, maybe go down to 3, maybe go down to 2, like however the ideal number really is. But like in the beginning, I like to just sort of stress test this kind of new cards. So we are playing some Dryads, 3 copies. I already talked about the good part about Dryad and then also the bad part about Dryad, which is obviously the fact that when you have a double Amulet in play, if you play Dryad, that only nets you 5 mana total as opposed to Azusa, which nets you 9. So that's a pretty massive difference, and that's why we see a 3-3 split. I could obviously see this going a variety of different ways, right? Like we could be going 4 Dryads to Azusa, we could be going 4 Azusa to Dryad, we could be going 2 Azusa, or 3 Azusa, 2 Dryad, 4 Explorers. Like there's a variety of different combinations that we can try out. This is the one that I'm going to be trying out today. As far as other things that I liked and didn't like about the previous list that I played, the first one is Expedition Map. I missed Expedition Maps in a couple of spots, and I feel like the upside of having this card in your deck is just so high, and the opportunity cost is low enough that I'm always just happy having the first copy. I'm also playing a singleton copy of Cultivator Colossus. This card just sucked multiple times, so nothing has really changed here. Obviously, we have more double amulets, sure, we have more Azuzas, but this card is still as situational as it has always been, so I basically never ever want a second copy. By having more copies, it just clunked up my draws. I just didn't like it, okay? So that's why we're only going with a singleton Colossus. The other thing that I did like, however, is the 11 bounce lands approach. Like this was actually very, very smart, and I really enjoyed it. So having access to 11 bounce lands, 10 of which are producing green mana, is a really, really big deal. So we're going to be going with 11 bounce lands from now on. And also I missed Cavern of Souls, and I really disliked a Lair of the Hydra, so that was a very, very easy swap. And finally, I'm cutting the third copy of Tolero West for the singleton Valakut. So that's why we see that change going on over there. As far as the sideboard goes, I did not like that sideboard at all. I thought that even though Seal Primordial makes sense, and I'm still going with a singleton copy here, even though it makes sense in theory because you can play it proactively and it just sits there and then you can blow up a dress down and stuff like that, even though it makes sense in theory, like the delta in power level that you're giving up by not playing the card Force of Vigor, particularly with the Mirror being very prominent right now, I imagine that like if you're playing the Mirror and like you have Force of Vigor, you're just a heavy favorite over the person who's not playing the card. Also, Pact of Negation, I liked the first copy, and I really struggled to kind of try to make room to find a slot to play this in the main deck and just sort of play it at the 60th card. Dom Harvey actually posted a deck list where he's playing 61 cards, and he was playing Pact, I guess, at the 61st card. So there's always that approach, I guess. But I couldn't find a room. I think I'd like to test all of these cards before I actually try to make room for this. But I did actually like having access to the singleton Pact. Just being able to set up situations where you can transmit for Pact of Negation felt quite strong. Maybe going down to 2 T-West instead of 3 makes that a little bit more of an issue, but like I still think that it's worth having the singleton copy in the sideboard because when it's good in the matchups that it's good in, it's actually very, very good. So I like having access to that in the sideboard. The redundant copies did not feel good at all, so I don't want any more than a singleton copy. Dismembers are great, no questions there. Singleton copy of Endurance and 2 Tireless Trackers. This is because not having a pivot really hurt the deck, I think. Particularly because your opponents are going to be playing cards like Stonebrain or like, cards that are narrow like Ashiok. Like those kind of cards are a really, really big problem for the all-in version of the deck. The same is true if, for whatever reason, people started to play something like Elish Norn. Like, we will need to look into cards like Beast Within in order to counter something like that, which, it's not great, but like you gotta do what you gotta do. So because of that, We are playing a couple of copies of Tireless Tracker, and then some Engineer Explosives, and rounding out the suite over here, we have Cavern, Boseiju, and Mujugi Ball in the sideboard. This is the deck that we're going to be playing in this league today. We'll see how it feels. We'll see if it performs better or worse than the one that I played yesterday. But hopefully it will be an enjoyable time. If you are enjoying the content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to support my content, if you're really digging what I'm doing over here, please consider joining the Patreon. And you can also find all the information is in the description of the video down below. You can also find information how to do donor deck lists, which I'm going to be playing a couple of them with the new cards this week, which I'm very excited about. And finally, you can also book coaching sessions as well. So all of the information is in the description of the video down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next in the first round. First round. Yes, let's go. All right, round number 1. So we can go turn 2 explore, I guess. We have turn 3 Dryad. This hand doesn't really go anywhere. Let's mulligan. This hand also kind of doesn't go anywhere. So I can go turn 3 Azusa, turn 4 Colossus, but then the Colossus doesn't really draw me any cards because I need to use all my lands to actually cast the Colossus. I think this hand is just, man, these hands are just terrible. So we go down to 4. Time to mulligan to 4. We can have a decent turn 4 card hand though. Gonna move to 4. Okay, this hand's a banger. So here we can go. We actually have access to. So I think we're gonna keep Primeval Titan, Urza's Saga, Amulet, Mycosynth Gardens. So by keeping these 4 cards, I can go turn 1. Saga Amulet, turn 2 Mycosynth Gardens, copy Amulet, turn 3 Pop Saga if I find a bounce and I cast Primeval Titan. So bottom all 3 of these, and we are, I mean, this is actually a very good 4-card hand. Like the fact that this is a 4-card hand that has the potential, like I have 10 looks at finding a card that actually wins on the spot on turn 3. Like that's actually kind of impressive. It's pretty impressive. Opponent plays Breeding Pool first. Tapped. Okay. It's redundant Primeval Titan, not too hot. There's also something we could do here, which is to just pass the turn. And because I don't know whether I'm drawing a land or not. So I can just get Expedition Map, crack it. Oh, we're playing a mirror match. Okay. I think I'm more likely to find another land. So I'm just gonna copy Amulet here. Opponent's doing something. Boseiju my Amulet in response. Okay. That's actually kind of fine though, because this just fizzles. So now we still have a land. And now we can still... Wow, so I guess we're winning next turn. So I guess I can't really make a construct, because I have to get an Amulet. So we get Amulet, I copy Amulet with Garden. Next turn we have, yeah, seems fine to me. Amulet, copy, and pass the turn back. Oh, I guess I'm 1 mana short now. Yeah, maybe I should have just done nothing. I should have just passed the turn back. I wanted to play around the second Boseiju, but maybe that was just wrong on my part. Okay, so now we want to draw. We have 4 Explore. We have 3 Explore, 3 Azusa, 4 Gracer, 3 Dryad, 4 Summoner's Pact. Any of those cards win the game on the spot. So opponent here can copy Amulet with Garden, and if they have Gracer, they may have lethal. Actually, no, they're up to 4. Okay, that actually wins. Perfect. So we get there. Mull to 4, no big deal. Mull to 4 while getting my Amulet interacted with. No big deal. Get Azusa. Here's another land. This is conveniently 6 mana. Say yes. T-West. Growth Chamber. Float some mana. Bounce this. Cast another one of these. Say yes. Mull to 4. No big deal. Imagine if I had kept any of the other hands and I would have lost this game miserably. I would just gotten completely run over and I would just spun my wheels and achieve nothing forever. And instead, I won the game. Perfect. Okay, so moving to the sideboard, Seal of Primordium, Boseiju, Force of Vigor ×2. These are the cards that I care about. Pact of Negation is always a very interesting one. I'm going to assume that my opponent's not gonna have... They're not gonna have any Pact of their own, any counter magic of their own. Cultivator can go... I think I want to have access to Dryad. So I think I'm gonna cut 2 Explores and 1 Misty. Yeah, this looks fine. Game number 2, we're up a game on the draw, and this hand just doesn't do anything, right? Chip it. This hand is very, very good. So we're gonna keep this one. I guess it's not like insanely good or anything, but it's strong. It's a strong hand. It needs a bounce land, however. Without a bounce land, we're not gonna go too far. But like Force of Vigor is just a game breaker in this matchup. Like that's one thing that, you know, people they love to complain about how broken Amulet is right now or whatever. But the truth of the matter is that the deck is weakest than ever to the interactive cards. Like it's wild how much weaker Amulet has gotten in the face of Force of Vigor, in the face of Blood Moon, any of those. Like if my opponent goes all in on copying the Amulet, for example, I just force it and like they just lose the game. Like they just can't, they can never come back from that, right? So there's definitely like a pretty big cost in, like this card adds a lot of power. I'm not arguing against that. Like that's very, very true. But the cost of all of that increase in power is the weakness to the deck's predators, right? Like you're just much weaker than before to the cards that are historically good versus Amulet. Now they're even better. So this is actually quite interesting. Like if given the if I'm forced to force, I guess. If I'm forced to force, what would I want to pitch? Is it gonna be the Dryad or is it gonna be the Summoner's Pact? I think it's actually quite interesting. I am thinking that the answer is gonna be the Dryad, and I'm gonna hold on to the Summoner's Pact. Opponent copies Amulet, which is fine. They already made their land drop, however. So, I mean, I don't need to do anything just yet, so I can just untap, see what I draw, which is just a blank. So yeah, I'm just gonna copy Dryad here. I'm gonna play the basic forest because of... I'm gonna play the basic forest because if I find another Amulet, this actually nets me mana. But yeah, here, Force of Vigor. We're gonna blow up 2 of my opponent's Amulets. Boop, boop, boop. Pitch Dryad. So yeah, turn number 3 and my opponent's got no permanents on board. Turn number 3 and no permanents to be found. Okay, so now we're playing Breeding Pool. Still playing the long game here. I have no rush. I'm gonna take my time, and I'm just gonna hit my land drops, and hopefully I find another land that is not Boseiju, so that I have Boseiju as interaction. And then just gonna play a Primeval Titan, and we're gonna go from there. Okay. So I could even just blow up the Cruel Turf if I wanted to, but I don't think I have to. That's interesting. Okay, so let's explore and see what's up. Any land would be great. I'll take that. I think I'm just gonna play around removal on my Amulet, mostly because I can. So I feel like there's value in playing around it. If my opponent's gonna spend their entire turn like playing like a Seal of Primordium or something like that to blow up my Amulet. So they pay 3 mana. Let's see what they're doing. Asusa. So I'm not gonna be able to haste, awkwardly enough. I'm not gonna be able to haste. And right here my opponent's got 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to assume that... So they played out Boseiju, which makes me think that it's likely they have another one. So if I play Growth Chamber, they're going to spend their turn Boseiju in my thing. They're going to be down to 1 card, which could be exactly Primeval Titan. So I think that it's worth it for me to do this and play and force my opponent to Boseiju now. But it looks like they don't, so we should be good here. I think I'd like to hold on to the Batman in hand. Actually, I can just Colossus here. Oh, never mind. I sided out Colossus. So here's Primetime. Vesuva. T-West. So Vesuva. Boros Garrison. And now we have prime time. Now we have to make sure that we have Boseiju. So I can get Mycosynth Gardens plus Growth Chamber, I think. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy Amulet, bounce T-West. Now we can pay for Pact, and we can also Boseiju. And I think I'm gonna Boseiju Gruul Turf on draw step. Actually, no, because like if my opponent gets to, if they resolve Primeval Titan, that's just fine. Like our prime time is gonna be better because we have Dryad and they don't. So all of this is just fine. Like they can just play their Primeval Titan, and then our prime time is gonna be better than theirs, so it doesn't matter because we have an Amulet and they don't. So that's kind of the key, right? Like I think it's much better for me to save this Boseiju specifically for Primeval Titan than it is to potentially, specifically for Amulet, sorry, that it is for me to preemptively get rid of the Gruul Turf to, if my opponent doesn't have 2 untapped lands, they can't cast Primeval Titan. Because if then their last card is like, I don't know, like Amulet, they had 3 cards, right? So if it's like Amulet, Bounce Land, Primeval Titan, I actually just lose. An otherwise unlosable game. Because my opponent would have got into like Mycosynth Garden, copy the Amulet, and then thanks to Asusa just make multiple land drops and kill me. But this way, by saving the remote spell for the Amulet specifically, I am just in much better shape. So I can blow up Boseiju here. This makes it so my opponent can't interact with my stuff. Otherwise my opponent could have like bounced. They could have bounced the forest and bounced Boseiju, and they could interact with my board. But by blowing up the Boseiju there, they have no way of interacting. So their hand is land, Mycosynth Garden, like basic forest, Mycosynth Garden. So I think this is just game. So this is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. We draw the Sun home. Damn it. I guess we're just gonna have to Valakut them, I guess. Which we know they have no way of interacting with, so it's fine. So make some mana. Bounce Garrison, Transmute, Summoner's Pact, Pact for Dryad, play Dryad. And I'm doing this because we know my opponent, 2 of my opponent's cards, which are 2 lands, so they can't have Force of Vigor. Here's an attack, here is Valakut, and I guess a Seiju. Valakut prime time twice. This is actually pretty funny. We get to get +2/+0. So white mana floating there, red mana floating here, +2/+0 the prime time, and then second main phase we just Vesuva and just go face. So even if they just chump block with Asusa, we have exactly lethal. All right, sweet. 1-0, beating the mirror. Asusa gets in the way, and Vesuva finishes. All right, baby, 1-0. Beating Amulet's worst matchup, which is the mirror match, of course. And boom. See you next round. Got a little bit of a disclaimer to make at this point. Unfortunately, I had a little baby emergency that I had to attend to. So this match, the second match, is actually not entirely recorded. I was starting to play the second game, and I had to just like quit the match and go attend my baby. So I apologize for that, but that's the way it goes. The game 1 was still very interesting, so I'm keeping it. But if you don't like to watch kind of like unresolved games, then you can probably skip this one and go straight to round number 3. Sorry about that. See you there. Round number 2, what are we looking at here? This hand looks decent. So we can go turn 1 Gracer, play off of a forest, then Saga on turn 1. If we find any untapped land, we get to Asusa, and then Asusa plus Amulet plus T-West is Titan. So decent spot. Prismatic Vista. That's very scary. Is that Ponza? That's gotta be Ponza. It's never not been Ponza, right? Literally, it's never not been Ponza. I can't beat Ponza though, so I'm just going to just play this Saga here, and not with this hand. I mean, so I'm gonna go for the highest upside play instead of trying to just play Tulare West or whatever and try to play around. It's just like there's no play around. If they have turn 2 Blood Moon, there's no playing around it. It's honestly like a really bad time to be playing Amulet right now, because it's like so at the very top of people's minds that even though like the deck is obviously very, very strong, but there's gonna be like a lot of folks out there just doing exactly what my opponent is doing and just like exploiting the meta. And like the first match that we played was the mirror, so clearly my opponent is playing Ponza in the right meta game, right? But I mean that's kind of what's gonna happen. Oh, Temple Garden. Is this Heliod? I mean, honestly, also a terrible matchup for us. For what's worth, also a very, very bad matchup for us. Oh, never mind. Wait, what? Okay. That's not Blood Moon. Silly opponent, that is not a Blood Moon. Not the best draw I've ever seen. Okay, so let's explore here. Mycosynth Gardens. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go. I think I want to go Bounce Land plus Gardens, and we're gonna do that with Boros Garrison, I think. So we're definitely playing Gardens. The question is, yeah, because this makes it so I have more lands in hand when I resolve Colossus, so this is probably fine. So yeah, let's just play Boros Garrison. I'm just gonna bounce my green source, I guess. So if my opponent does not have the Blood Moon, we're gonna have a lot of fun. It is Boseiju. Boseiju plus Ren and 6. Yeah, we can't beat this. We most definitely cannot beat this. Again, yet another thing that is a problem, right? Is the fact that we can't, like now we are weaker than ever. So like this sort of engine. So the cards that were, because like we have no way of pressuring Ren in this list. Jesus, okay. The good old Boseiju plus Blood Moon combo deck. All right. I guess if I'm going to draw a card, better be that one, right? So there's a Dryad. Also, by the way, opponent did not pressure there. So here's a couple of lands, and I'm not going to be able to transmute these T-West, but I think that's fine, because my opponent's going to give me, if they Boseiju my Dryad, they're going to be giving me the land that I need here. So now I can just cast Cultivator next turn. And it's just like a random stupid 7/7, like it doesn't really do anything, but I mean, a 7/7 is a 7/7, you know what I'm saying? Particularly versus like a deck that's not really pressuring me here. Season Pyromancer, okay. I guess now they have pressure. Pitching Endurance. So I guess my best draw would be like a land, kind of any land, regardless of what it is. And then I just want to draw as many lands in a row as I can. Land? Primeval Titan. Okay. Just play a 6/6 before we play the 7/7. And the reason to do that is like this is something that I can put on the board and I can start pressuring my opponent with. And now I can actually just cast my primetime. Just gonna get whatever, like a couple of bounce lands, I guess. But I can just they can Boseiju my land, whatever, doesn't matter. I can just cast my Colossus and I can play these in the process. Point on taps land, and imagine they're gonna Boseiju whatever. Doesn't really matter what they Boseiju. They don't. Interesting. Why wouldn't they Boseiju there? They ping Primeval Titan. So they're gonna play second Ren, ping again, and then Fury. Okay. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Alright. Alright. That's a way to get rid of the bad boy. You're out of mana this turn, though. I'm gonna take one. Not even attacking. Nice, nice, nice. So I can pact for another prime time. I can pact for a Dryad. Because if I pact for a Dryad, I can then use this T-West to transmute for Boseiju and blow up the Blood Moon. The problem is that if I do that, then I just have nothing to do. So I think we're just gonna Cultivator. We're just gonna hope that we draw some cards. Okay. 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 Yep, that was pretty good. So here's a 12/12. A year ago. So this worked out. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that this worked out. Tireless Tracker. Okay. It's kind of hot. Cannot resist myself with Tireless Tracker. I respect the tracker life. I'm not sure I mean, I like the idea of playing Ponza right now, but like I don't know what you're doing with white mana that would make the splash not just a worse version of the same deck. I'm very interested in knowing what they're splashing for, though. So we packed for prime time. That makes this a 14-14. 15-15 with that. Summon Respect. Primeval Titan. Just taps. Just tapping lands at random. Here is +2/+2 to my this is just +2/+2 to my Cultivator Colossus. Do I want to another +1/+1? So this is 6 +4 is 10. Yeah, I might as well. I don't have another Colossus, so don't really care about their Ren. So I'm just gonna go face. Okay, opponent goes down to 2. And I'm just gonna, I guess I'm gonna play a Susa for good measure, just like as a champ blocker if I need it. Just to not get randomly hosed by a random card. 3 mana, Eladamri's Call. This is what they're splashing? Elishnorn, maybe? Solitude. Okay. But they can't cast this Solitude. Do they just have another white card? Pitching Prismatic ending. Okay. It's kind of funny that they actually have to like get rid of the Colossus, gaining me pretty significant amount of life here. So now, I guess I'm gonna be holding on. Their last card in hand is Boseiju. Oh, never mind. They have Tracker. Never mind. They got Tracker going. So Prismatic Vista. Vista, Boseiju, Unknown is my opponent's hand. Vista, Boseiju, Unknown. So here we pay for Pact. Say yes. That's a blank. So if I attack with Prime Time, I guess I am forcing my opponent to chump. So they're probably going to block with Fury, Token, and Elf, I assume. Let's get Valakut as a bounce land. Let's just get another Gardens. Oh, they can get Season Pyro tokens back. That's right. Honestly, I forgot about the Season Pyro tokens. So this means, I mean, they're still going to need to like throw the Fury in there. So they're going to 1 here. Huh. So I guess what are we looking for here? Having only 3 basics really costing me here. A little bit rough. Hard cast Fury. I think this Blood Moon is gonna do me good. I guess it was actually the Tireless Tracker, the one that won this game. It was like the combination of Tracker plus Blood Moon. Because if I Boseiju the Moon... Oh, wow. Yeah, you can't attack with the Arbor Elf here. If they attack with Arbor Elf, then I can just, like... If I draw Boseiju or Dryad... I guess I would need to draw exactly Boseiju. That's like the worst card to draw. Literally the worst card to draw. I mean, I'm gonna just get another Primeval Titan. I don't know how much this is gonna do, but what else am I gonna do? Kind of is what it is. Just gonna get some more lands and send it back. Opponent really holding on to that Boseiju for dear life. They're really, but I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. This is the easiest 6 that I've ever taken in my entire life. Just the easiest 6 I've ever taken. Never taken easier 6 than those. Another call. Call for Elishnorn, Mother of Machines, which they cannot cast. So my opponent is literally taking against Amulet specifically. They build their deck specifically to beat Amulet Titan. That's what they're doing over there. Literally build the entire deck for the matchup. Ren pings. I mean, I guess I'm going to have to trade with that Tracker, which is a little bit brutal. So if I had found Boseiju there, I could have attacked and that was stricken. That was stroke. There's whatever. I think I have to attack. I actually think I have to attack. Just to force the chump block from the Tireless Tracker. I guess it's not a chump block, it's just a trade, but I think I have to force the trade. And my game plan here is going to be draw exactly Boseiju, play land. I guess I'm going to play Gracer to like chump the Fury. Draw exactly Boseiju, play land. We have to hold on to this breeding pool. So we're going to play exactly, draw Boseiju, blow up Blood Moon, and then Dryad, I guess back for Dryad. Geez, they have 2 basic planes. My opponent's deck is kind of greedy. Fury, Hardcast. Okay, so I have these turn to draw Boseiju. I guess it doesn't even work, right? because I have no more fetchables for this Misty Rainforest, and I have no fetchables for the Misty, and my opponent can just find the forest, and the legendary creature allows them to Boseiju my Dryad. So even if I do find exactly Boseiju off the top, I think I'm still dead. Oh, I can just cast Prime Time and just haste it naturally, because like, I have both red, white, and Stronghold. I mean, not that it matters because I didn't draw anything, but yeah. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this is way more than lethal. All right, so my opponent's playing the anti-Blood Moon deck. We like Tireless Tracker. We like Seal. We like Dismembers. Definitely want Boseiju. Maybe want Force. Actually, I think I do. We're going to cut all of the Ursa Sagas. We're going to cut 1 Gracer, 2 Asusas, and we're just going to become like a sort of mid-range deck. Can cut Cultivator and I guess another Gracer. Maybe I'm overdoing it with Seal and Force. My opponent only really showed me, what's his name, right? Like, they only showed me Blood Moon. That's a card that I care about, so I guess I'm gonna... Let's bring in Cultivator. Turn 1 Valakut, turn 2 Explore. Again, and I'm only keeping this because I am going for a mid-range sort of plan, right? So this is a fine mid-range hand that doesn't just scoop to Blood Moon because I have a basic. Maybe I should have actually cut some number of amulets, now that I think about it. And it's good for me to lead on Valakut because if I draw a Gracer, I can cast it off of the cavern. They are playing Monkey? Jesus. Entire previous game, we did not see Monkey in like 50 cards or something. I mean, we're gonna get owned by it, so that sucks. But we're gonna name Giant here because we actually don't have another green source. So, all right, turn to Blood Moon. Obviously, now that I know they have Monkey, siding out the Gracers feels very, very silly. But my opponent went through like maybe more than half their deck and didn't reveal a single Monkey. So, my Blood Moon or not? Season Pyre. It's not a Blood Moon. Most certainly not a Blood Moon. And notably, I can now play Asusa that trades with Monkey. It's actually better. Okay, unfortunately we couldn't finish the previous round, but here we go. This is round number 3. Playing against a Jegantha deck, and this hand is just not good enough. This one is just as bad, so let's mulligan that one too. This one's very good though. I like this one. So this is a solid 5. I think what I want to do is I want to go... Okay, so actually Gardens made switch this around a bit. So this is just a turn 2, right? This is wild to me. I guess it's not a turn 2 because I have to go like turn 1 Gardens, Amulet, turn 2 Sanctuary, Mana, Floating, Copy, Amulet, turn 3. So that's fine. So we're gonna bottom Garrison and Explore. It kind of sucks because Explore is sick, but Pact is what allows me to actually turn 3 the Titan, so. Opponent also moves to 5, just keeping it fair. Turn 1 Amulet, your go. What do you got, Jegantha Gamer? Arid Mesa. There are some draws here that just win me the game on the spot. Prismatic Ending is the opposite of winning me the game on the spot. Expedition Map. Okay, I guess we're gonna be doing that. It's gonna be a slow grind now. It's gonna be a slow grind. I think we just crap map for Saga. Opponent gets an island and dashed Monkey. This is I don't think this is a good play. Unless my opponent has like a Haymaker to play next turn. I don't think this is a particularly great play because now my opponent's mana is gonna be basically stuck every single turn. That Saga draw is pretty solid though. I dig that. Yeah, pass it back. So I think we're just gonna crack this for just a Growth Chamber. Yeah, but now my opponent's mana is like every turn they just need to dash this Monkey. Particularly when they're missing land drops, right? So like my opponent's not really pulling that far ahead on mana. They're like kind of pulling ahead on mana, but like they could be really pulling ahead on mana. They could be like holding, you know, making many. They could be like have much more mana right now. So I think I'd rather just make a construct, because if my opponent wants to dash monkey again, they're just gonna be stuck using their mana this way. Yep. So they dash monkey once again. We're just gonna make a construct. Opponents, oh, they just trade? Well, that is very good for me. All right, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I kind of want to just make a construct here, just for value, because I don't want to get. I just don't want to run into something like Remand or whatever. So we just do this. We're gonna float a mana here. Play Asusa. We can still, even if they have Remand or whatever, we can still do the madness. Now we play, and again, like I could try to do something more explosive, but like I just don't have to, right? Like I have all the time in the world, so we just chill. This also allows me to just like sit on this amulet, and like if they prismatic ending, I can just copy in response, so we still have access to another amulet. Feeling like I'm in decent shape here. Underworld Breach. They're literally just gonna ending my amulet. That's it. Well, I'm gonna copy it. All right, amulet's gone. Do you have another prismatic ending? Nope. Okay, cool. So now we're just gonna cast this Primeval Titan. Hopefully win the game from there. So here's a land drop. And I think I don't want to explore, because I may draw into either Boros Garrison or the other card. What I can choose to do, however, is to play around Mana Leak. Does that matter? It actually may matter. So, I mean, it's free for me to do this, so might as well, I guess. So we're just going to play around Mana Leak because we can. My opponent could also have Remand. Remand would kind of suck, but Breach. So we want Bog. I think I'm gonna play. I'm gonna think about counter spells. So I'm gonna bring in all of these, like Forces, like Seal. I think I like Explosives as well. I don't like Cultivator. We can, man, like Sideboarding is kind of tough now. Like it really makes things very tricky with the Gardens. I don't think I really want to cut more Gardens. So let's cut one Asusa. Definitely want to be cutting some amount of land. So I think I'm going to cut a Forest, a Fetch. It's possible I should be cutting some number of Gardens, to be honest. Or maybe a bounce land. Those are things that I would consider for sure. But I guess I'm going to cut a bounce land here. Do something like this. It's very possible that just is nonsense. But yeah, I'm new to the card. Give me a break. New to the card, trying to figure out just like everybody else. This hand seems like a little bit of a trap, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ship it. This hand is... I don't think this is great either. This is okay. Okay, so bottom Asusa. I think I want Gracer, mostly to block Monkey. I think I'm gonna bottom the Explosives. Really want to find a bounce land. But turn 1 Gracer, like my opponent's probably going to go for turn 1 Monkey here. So Gracer, hopefully going to do some work. Gonna shock. And I think I'm just going to play out T-West. T-West makes it so every bounce land that I draw gets me towards T-West mana. Okay. Any bounce land that I draw allows me to transmute, is what I mean. Just don't take my bounce lands. That's a Forest. Forest is fine, whatever. That's a Shredder. I got it. Interesting. So I could go for Dryad here. The problem is if I go for Dryad, then I'm in a situation where I need to play out this, meaning that I'm not going to have second blue anymore. So I play Dryad this turn, make the extra land drops, then follow. I hold on to the T-West in hand. Following turn, I mean, just blocking the monkey is so much value. Just blocking the monkey is so great. I think we're gonna. They do get to connive, which is not great for me, but play land, bounce T-West, say go. So next turn we're gonna be stuck paying for Pact. Do they have an answer to the Dryad? Consider. It's kind of the only thing that matters, right? Like, do they have the Heat and the Delirium? Or not. They kept on top, which is scary. They play Steam Vents and Shock. So I'm assuming there's something coming up here. And Holy Heat. It's gonna be the Luck Suck and Holy Heat. No Luck Suck, just in Holy Heat. So we're gonna take 5 this turn. Primeval Titan exiled. That's bad for me. Would have liked to have drawn that one. So we're paying for upkeep. Say yes. Primetime? Expedition map. I don't think that does anything, so I'm just gonna play out T-West and say go. So now if I top deck Primeval Titan or Summoner's Pact, I can just cast it. But it may just not be enough because the Shredders are going. The Shredder's gonna be attacking me in the air anyway. I have no way to stabilize against it. Not with the Dryad gone now. So I guess I can draw what? Engineered Explosives. If I draw Engineered Explosives, I can get rid of the Shredder. Okay. Putting Cantripping hard over there. Keeping on top again with Consider is pretty rough. Probably bad news for us. Semi-Growth Chamber. Okay, tap land, Explosives, Force of Vigor. It's not gonna do it. Moving on to game 3. I think my opponent doesn't really have too much in the way of interacting with Saga. So let's bring in that extra Saga. And do I just need these dismembers? Is this a thing that I actually need here? Oh, Endurance. I definitely need Endurance. It's Endurance over Force. I think I'm just gonna cut a Cavern for the Growth Chamber, for this Sanctuary. Kind of a little bit off Force, so that can make room for one of Fun Off, another Explore. Just to smooth things out a little bit. Also Explore pretty nice with Endurance because it makes the curve a little bit smoother. Interesting. Yeah, so we're keeping this for sure. And I think that I'm gonna go Boseiju on turn 1 and play Stronghold. And it exposes it to Unholy Heat, but that's kind of the idea. I kind of want for my opponent to heat, not Unholy Heat, Prismatic Ending. I want my opponent to ending the Amulet on turn 1 so they don't play a Monkey. And then I can just still cantrip on turn 2. Now I want to draw a Dryad. Dryad of Lydian Grove. Off the top, Dryad. Not quite. Yeah. Let's play Valakut here. And let's play Explorer. See what's up. Growth Chamber. It's not very good. So let's just play out Stronghold and pass it back, I guess. Not much to do here. We're just going to have to wait 2 more turns before we restore Primeval Titan. That is, of course, assuming that my Amulet doesn't get Prismatic Ending. And here we are gonna see like the difference, right? Like how much better it is that, you know, my opponent's not spending 2 mana like in game 1, right? Where my opponent was just like spending 2 mana every single turn to do, you know, to keep the Ragavan going. And here my opponent's spending no mana at all, and it's that much more powerful for obvious reasons. Opponent not playing out the Amulet. What the hell? Damn. Opponent bubbling over there. So my best draw is Azusa here. I think if I draw Azusa, I very easily win the game. Grazer would also do it. Summoner's Pact would do it. That's an Azusa. Ding, 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 ding. We got a winner. Play Azusa. Play that one. Float 2 mana. Yes. Play that one too. Float some more mana. So that is 6. Bounce that. You may connive, opponent. I will allow you to connive. So I think I probably have to get Bojuka Ball of these primetime. Just to make sure that I don't get heated out of the game. But we're going to do Boros Garrison, Vesuva over here. We're going to do some hasting. Boom. Bounce that. Go to combat. No packs to pay for, so we can safely serve. We're gonna do Bojuka Bog, Tolera West. And there's that. It's not, I mean, it's actually very far from impossible for my opponent to set up Unholy Heat from here, but looks like they're off it, which is fine. I'm okay with that. 2-1. Round number 4, opponent moves to 6, and this hand seems keepable. Yet another instance of Expedition map being great. Aether Hub. Yes. Yes, whatever's going on over there, I am in. So if I go, I think I'm gonna go Expedition Map on turn 1. This allows me to crack map on turn 2. It's bad if I draw a bounce land. It's bad if I draw a bounce land because I'm not gonna be able to Asusa on 2. But this means turn 2, I just map for, I just crack map, get a bounce land. Turn 3, I Amulet into Asusa. Turn 4, Titan. So that is kind of, well, sounds good. So, okay, pass the turn. Whatever my opponent is doing over there, it better kill me. It better kill me very, very dead, because imagine this is them cracking Relic. The cool thing is, like, if they play a Blood Moon, I can just crack map for Boseiju or something like that. I don't... Jesus. What? I guess their deck didn't function and they don't want to show me anything else. But what? Okay. So, what deck plays 2 Aether Hubs? Like, it's gotta be some sort of combo deck, right? Is my opponent... Please tell me my opponent's playing, like... what's the name of the card? What's the name of the card? Like, the one that you spin and you get... Marvel. Aetherworks Marvel. Please tell me my opponent's doing Aetherworks Marvel nonsense. So I guess if my opponent is actually doing something like that, I probably need to keep the Cultivator. Because if my opponent does indeed do something busted, then I'm probably going to have access to a way to get back into the game or something. So maybe Cultivator is fine. Let's cut and explore. And I think I'm going to cut... We're adding Boseiju, so I think I want to cut a Cavern of Souls. If they are playing some form of counter magic, we're going to get punished by that, but it's fine. So this is a hand that it's just a trap, right? Like, I can Grazer on 1, Asusa on 2, and just go nowhere. I'm missing both a Bounce Land and a Primeval Titan. So, ship this one. This hand does stuff. It most definitely does stuff. It's going to be a lot of Amulets. Let's bottom the Forest. And the question is, what do I lead on? Bojuka Bog. Alright, I have no idea what my opponent's up to over there. So we can't do that. I'm totally going to get Force of Vigor here, aren't I? I mean, I'm not going to play around it, but like, it's totally happening, I think. It's never not happened. Inquisition of Kozilek off of a Bojuka Bog. After they play the 2 Aether Hub. The king is living up to their name. The king is indeed living up to their name. Nothing but respect for the king. They take the redundant amulet. So what this does is it allows me to like use these gardens. I can just use double Bojuka Bog? What? My opponent's just a maniac, I'm starting to believe. So this is exactly 7 mana, right? So I just do this and pass the turn. And then end step, we copy my own amulet. Main phase, we crack for 3rd amulet, 1 mana floating. That's 7. It's not guaranteed to be a win. Like, I can draw, you know, I can draw into like 2 Grazers or whatever, but it's guaranteed to be fun. It's guaranteed to be... No! No! Don't thought not me! Fulminator Mage? Oh my god. Please go after the garden. Please go after the garden. I guess it actually doesn't matter. Like, my opponent should just hold and do nothing. Yeah. This is... I mean, this is like the worst possible thing, right? Because now I just copy this, and this becomes an artifact, and it fizzles, so yeah, the line was to... So now we obviously we just win very easily. But the line was to like hold onto the Fulminator and just blow up whichever bounce land I'm attempting to play. And that would have given my opponent 1 more turn. Oh no, my Cultivator's dead. Oh no, my Cultivator. Oh no, my Cultivator died. So sorry. Next round. Last round of the league. We got Gardens, we got Saga, we got Amulet. So we can go turn 1 Amulet. Yeah, this hand's great. What am I even thinking? This hand is incredible. We can go turn 1 Amulet off of Saga, turn 2 Asusa, play Garden, play Valakut, I guess play Cavern. I don't even need to miss land drops now. Yeah, this is what the kids call the nuts. And my play is going to be to get Expedition Map from Saga so I can find, what's his name? So I can find Expedition Map. Expedition Map for Tularia, sorry. Spell Pierce. Never mind. Pivot. We're going to pivot now. Spell Pierce off of a Bloodstained Mire. Okay. I mean, they achieved it, right? I was never going to play around Spell Pierce out of Bloodstained Mire, right? Particularly without showing Jegantha. So now my hand is a lot less bad. A lot less good, sorry. And I want to, like, redo things. Can we, like, switch things around a little bit now? Is this creativity? That's a Ren 6, so yeah, this is creativity. Okay. That's a Dryad. By the way, this is a little bit of a number, right? Gotta point that out. Dryad, very hard to get to when you are, you know, not able to. when your lands are turning into artifacts instead of being lands, it's a lot harder to get to 6 lands for like it. So that's definitely a little bit of dyssynergy there. Okay. So Remand? Is that what's up? Oh, Fire and Ice. Yeah, that's fine actually. Do anything. Here's an Amulet. Here's a bounce land. Where's my gal? Where's my one and only? Oh, there's Azusa. She's lost, but she's still seeking. Man, we have some pretty good options here. So I can go Saga plus Gardens. This allows me to copy Amulet if I need to. Alternatively, I can just like drop the Dryad as well. I mean, that's probably just better, right? But that means that I can't copy with Garden. So if my opponent has Prismari Command and they get rid of Amulet, then I'm not going to have Double Amulet. But I can still find the Double Amulet of Saga, I guess. So yeah, I guess putting the Dryad in play is just better. And resolving it through Remand, even though it's not extremely likely for my opponent to have Remand, they could have it. But now we can't actually copy Amulet, which I could have if I held on to the Dryad. Alright. Creativity, yes or no? Opponent gonna get creative? Looks like they are. Okay. So, I guess at this point we're gonna have more mana, so I'm gonna get rid of Azusa. So if we draw T-West, Expedition Map, or Primeval Titan, we win regardless. So I'd rather just have the Dryad, I guess. One of the cards that win? It's not one of the cards that wins. Definitely not one of the cards that wins. So I can't beat another creativity. So that's out of the way. Like I can't beat a second creativity. So the question is, do I want to play out Valakut and discard Mycosynth Gardens to the attack trigger? Or do I want to play Gardens and discard Valakut? So if I top deck Primeval Titan, I guess it's just the same. Like if we top deck Titan, we're gonna win regardless. So that doesn't really change the equation at all. But if I play Gardens, I get Expedition Map. I use my mana to copy on end step. I untap and I get 6 mana, 2 to crack. Yeah, I think that the Gardens is just better because it gives me triple Amulet. So I'm gonna copy this going to untap. So as is, if my opponent has 8 blanks in their hand, we should be good to go. We should have lethal next turn. But we cannot beat creativity, we cannot beat Prismari Command, and we cannot beat an answer to either one of these amulets. Unless we draw something, of course. But here, obviously, we sack Construct, discard Valakut, take 6. All right. 8 blanks. Let's go. 9 blanks. My bad. Okay. Only 8 to go. Only 8 of them need to be bad. Oh, man. So unlucky. Yeah. Because I was not going to have a bounce land anymore, right? So, oh, no. Actually, did I just fuck up? I think I just fucked up. We go to 2. I top deck exactly Primeval Titan. I crack Expedition Map, play Bounce Land. No, because they're gonna have 6 blockers. So no, yeah, we actually were that. They're gonna have a 2/6/6 blocking. So Pact of Negation, get in there. Engineer Explosives, get in there. That's kind of it. My opponent did not show me any triumphs or anything like that. They showed me white mana though. So maybe they are playing Binding. That's basically the difference between playing Force or not playing Force. Is like, does your opponent have Binding? If they have Binding, I'm interested in Force. If they don't, I'm not interested. So that's kind of the name of the game. Got an Explore. Bring in Boseiju. Got a Cavern. Most lists are not running man, so let's go with this. Terrible hand. Ship it. I guess this is how it's gonna go. I see deck. I see. Multi-5. Not a great card. Not a great card right here. I guess I'm gonna keep this though. Actually, I'm definitely keeping Garden. And I'm definitely bottoming one of these Boseijus. But what's the second card? Am I bottoming Turf? Or am I bottoming Boseiju? I think I'm actually forced to bottom Turf, actually. Because otherwise, I'm just not going to be able to develop my mana. Because Gardens turns into an Amulet, and then I just don't have mana anymore. Opponent also moves to 5. So let's go Boseiju into Amulet. Let's say go. My opponent could have Prismatic Ending. That would suck. Looks like they don't. And that's a Growth Chamber. So they can't have Engineered Explosive. So we're just going to do this right now, main phase. We have 5 mana for next turn. And then 6 on the following turn. I imagine they're going to have stuff like Wear Tear and whatnot. So I don't think these amulets are safe by any stretch of the imagination. Boseiju is okay, I guess. Like, it's not the worst. Could have been worse. That is bad, however. That is... So... I need... What do I need? First of all, to dodge Renin 6. We probably can't beat Renin 6. Then what else do I need? Black. Okay, it's a Fable. Okay, things not necessarily going our way here in the last stretch, but hope is the last thing that one is supposed to lose, I guess. I'm not gonna Boseiju the Fable. So if they creativity, what am I discarding? Probably Sunhome? I guess I just discard Boseiju, right? So just play Sunhome past the turn back. We are gonna have to draw, I guess, Asusa or Gracer. Or Pact. Asusa, Gracer, Pact, Primeval Titan. Summoner's Pact also counts. What else? I can't have my opponent answer my Amulet. If they do that, I just lose. Discarding Teferi is an interesting one. So they're just playing 5 colors straight up. So they're very likely playing Leyline Binding, I guess. Oh, they're going to X equals 2 here. So I'm going to need to get really, really lucky. How do I get lucky? Oh, I should have Boseijed one of the things. I'm an idiot. I should have Boseijed the token. I'm just stupid. I mean, not that it would have mattered, like we whiffed anyway and they were going to attack and we were going to be dead regardless, but obviously that was a mistake, right? That was... Alright, creativity got us. Yeah, we just moved to 5 and had some non-functional hands. That's the story. Alright, folks, that's the second league. Second 3-2. I mean, the deck feels strong, and I like this list way better than the first one that I played. This one felt just more well-rounded. Like, the first one seemed like it was just like a bunch of... It had a bunch of holes that were fairly easily exploitable, and this one has less holes, particularly when we played against that Blood Moon deck and we kind of played a little bit of a longer game, and even game 2 we were able to like cyborg in such a way that actually allowed us to have a fighting chance. With the original version that we played, like just like cross fingers. Like when I played around Blood Moon in that previous league that I played, I felt completely hopeless. So this one felt a little bit better. Still far from ideal. I want to say far from ideal. This is not even close to a finished product at this point. I think it's going to take a while. Like, Mycosynth Garden is a card that's actually very hard to build with. So there were things that I liked, things I didn't like. The Dryad, Valakut, Mycosynth Garden, this synergy alongside Saga is kind of a big deal, I want to say. So I would not be surprised if you wanted to play like the Dryad angle, you have to play like 2 Dryads at most or something like that, because like naturally triggering your Valakut is actually very unlikely. And not only because you kind of can only afford to play a single copy, but also because you now have 8 lands that are destroying themselves in order to do what you want them to do. And not only that, but you also are playing 11 bounce lands, which actively hurt your chances of getting Valakut online. So all of those reasons make me believe that the Valakut angle, even though it's obviously extremely, extremely powerful and very, very relevant in certain matchups, it may just not be something that you want to pursue, and you may want to kind of like do a little bit of in between, where you are playing all in with the Gardens in the main deck, but then once you sideboard, you actually have access to all of those cards. You have access to like Tireless Tracker, you have access to Endurances, and you can actually pivot at least a little bit into something a little bit more mid-rangey that allows you to, you know, play a little bit of more back and forth. Yeah, I'm really excited for like the coming leagues because I kind of want to crack this code right here. Want to try to figure out what the best way to be Amulet is going to be. So hopefully you will be along for the ride. The next couple of videos are not going to be Amulet related, but trust me, soon enough you're gonna like. I'm actually excited about playing. I'm really, really excited about playing Amulet right now. So we're going to definitely be seeing more of this. Also, Beast Within. Consider Beast Within, because that may be an interesting piece of the puzzle with people playing Ashioks and Elesh Norns and whatnot. That's it for this one, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on the way out if you enjoyed what you saw. And yeah, don't forget that you can support my content through Patreon, through donations, whenever you use TCG Player and Mana Traders links that you find in the description of the video down below. And of course, coaching as well. Everything is right there in the description. So see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.